All right, let's go. First of all, welcome to the show, Principal Sonnier.
Well, thank you.
Um, Damn, it's such an honor having you on. Like you have like one of the most biggest perseverance that most people probably don't even know. In case you guys don't know, you started out as a janitor, now you're a principal. But before we get to that, can you talk a little about yourself? Well, I think I've said everything. Um, well,
Oh yeah, well, I can start with this way, just to let you know a little bit about my background, how
mm,
things just actually led up to where I am today. I started. I was born to parents who did not have a high school education, but they stressed the importance of a good education.
oh,
So through grade school and high school, I worked very hard at trying to obtain a good education. And in fact, I ended up graduating fifth in my senior graduating class.
six.
And
Damn.
the thing that was so the story the thing that makes it so much rewarding for me is that the obstacles that I faced along the way. And one of those things was with that year, my senior year in high school, my mother and father had divorced, and
Oh wow.
we were living in Leonville, Louisiana, moved to Port Barre, Louisiana, and my mother was she was a maid, a housekeeper. And what she did was, because this was my senior year in high school, she drove us back from Port Barre to Leonville every day so that I could graduate from high school. And so,
Wow.
be able to graduate at the top of my class, knowing the sacrifice my mother made, I got a scholarship to attend a university. In fact, I went on to attend Southern University in Baton Rouge. But in less than a semester, I had to drop out of school,
Oh.
and I had to drop out because my mother could not afford. At that time, child support was not something that was pushed,
Oh
and
man.
so my mother, so I had four other siblings, and so I had to drop out and go into the workforce. And in fact, I started doing construction work. I worked in a sawmill, and then I worked at a grocery store.
Wow.
But it was after the grocery store that, while working at the grocery store, a former teacher of mine, who was the principal at Port Barre Elementary at the time, uh, he was looking for a janitor. And so, in looking for a janitor, uh, I knew him real well. And I said, well, you know what? I'm looking for another job because I had just got overlooked for a position at that grocery store. And so I started. I was hired as a janitor at Port Barre Elementary School in 1981.
Wow. It's strange.
Four
You
years
graduated
later,
high school, but how come like being a janitor is the only thing that was available at the
well,
time?
I'll tell you this how it is. Is that when you're trying to help your family, you look for something that you can do. And see, my father was a janitor all his life. We used to go and clean office buildings, and so I saw it as a great job. So I jumped at the opportunity to take it because I knew what to do. I knew about janitorial work, and so that's why I set out to do it. And so about 4 years later, when my oldest son was getting ready to enroll in kindergarten, the principal walked up to me and he said, Gabe, he says, I taught you in school. I know your potential. And he said, you better benefit the children as an educator rather than a janitor. And he said, now don't get it wrong. A janitor is an honest living. You don't have to look over your shoulders. He says, but I know you benefit the kids better. He said, in fact, I'd rather see you grading papers than picking them up.
Oh
And so
wow.
he planted that seed in me, and it stayed in my heart and in my mind. And so what I did not immediately enroll into school. What I did was I went to my church and started teaching religious education in my church. And through those years, I would, while I was at work, I would go in the classrooms and I sort of look and see what the teachers were doing, and I liked what the teachers were doing. And some things I could take with me into my classroom at my church, and some things I wouldn't. But then 10 years later, the principal retired, and I had still not yet enrolled into school. And so what I did was the new principal that came in, he knew me real well, and he saw my potential. And he said, Gabe, you really need to take up Mr. Jones up on going back to school. So in the year 2000, which was 15 years after Mr. Jones had planted that seed in my heart, I enrolled into a university. And the ironic thing about it was that Mr. Jones's son who enrolled me into the university he was recruiting. And so in 2000, I began school, college. In fact, I began with my sons. Both my sons had gotten college scholarships. And so we were all in college at the same time. I was at LSU in Eunice, and one was in Texas, and one was in Monroe, Louisiana. But on our weekends, my wife and I spent weekends following them playing football. But the thing about it is that I started going to classes at night. And then when the classes, my night classes ran out, and I was getting into my courses for days, I ran into another problem. I was trying to figure out how I was going to work and go to school during the day as well. And so what I did was I talked to my principal. We got with the superintendent. Now, the superintendent was also a former teacher of mine in Leonville. So he told me, he said, this is what you do. He said, you get your schedule, and what we'll do is you work around your schedule. So what I would do is I would go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, leave 2 hours later, I would leave at 7. And then from 7 o'clock, I would go to classes, and then going to classes, I would come back from class and then come back to work. But then it got worse, because then when I got to my education courses, I had to go day and night. And so what I had to do was I had to go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, leave at 7, come back at 9:30 that night, come back at 9:30, work until about 12 here, go home, do my homework till about 1:30 or so, get up 2.5, 3 hours later, and come to work and repeat that process every day. And I did that for 2.5 years. I was running on about 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night. And during the week, on weekends, I was actually going to watch my sons play football. And during the week, at times of basketball, I was also a basketball high school and college basketball official for 22 years. I was doing all that, umpiring high school at softball and baseball. I was in charge of a recreation program, a baseball, softball recreation program. And so I was doing all these things, and not to mention I was doing a whole bunch of things in my church. I was in charge of a lot of things in my church. And people ask me, well, how did you do that? Well, I tell them I said by the grace of God. And so in fact, I graduated from UL in 2008, and I started teaching at Berre Elementary. I started teaching 3rd grade math, science, and social studies to 3rd grade students. I did that for 3 years, and then I decided I wanted to get to educational leadership. So after teaching 3rd grade for 3 years, I went on to get my master's from Arkansas State University. And I started also teaching a new grade level. I started teaching 4th grade that same year. I enrolled into my master's program. And I graduated my master's program in 2012. In November 2013, the school board appointed me principal here at Berre Elementary School.
Wow.
Now, the ironic thing about that is, in Louisiana, you have to teach 5 years, and then you can get the administration. But normally, the way they do it is you become administrative assistant, then assistant principal, and then principal. Well, in my case, I did 27 years as a janitor, 5 years as a teacher, and went straight to principalship. And so the message I give to all that I come in contact with, it's not where you start, it's how you finish. And that's just the message I give out to everybody. This is not my story. The story that I'm just giving you, it's not my story. I call it God's story, because God had a hand in all of this. I didn't do this alone. Everything I accomplished this day comes from God. And so that's a story of from being a janitor to principal.
Wow, I'm like totally speechless. I can't tell if I'm dreaming. Like I should try like pinching myself. No, because I'm not dreaming. This actually happened. So, if from high school, you completed. You know, you had personal problems, and then that actually like in a way motivate you to do better. Because disasters can bring like the not necessarily the worst, but the best in people. And then in the
Uh-huh.
university, you had to drop out, and then
Yes.
eventually you were enrolled by somebody. Could it be I think that's very lucky. And after that, you completed it, and then you're now principal because you had connections in general.
Yeah, and Chris, I'll have to put it to you this way, Chris, and that's why I tell everybody, God puts the right people in place at the right time. And so what he did was God set these people up that would help me get the plan that he had. Because I'm going to tell you something, Chris, when I first started as janitor here, my thing was this. I would work here for maybe 5, maybe 10 years. That was the plan. And I would go look to do something else. But I stand by, and this is a proverb, Proverbs chapter 16, verse 9. People make plans in their minds what they're going to do, but it is God who decides what they're going to do. And I realized that my plans was to get out, to eventually get out, but it was God's plan that I would be the principal at this school because every avenue that I went to, no matter how tough it was always somebody there that I had come in contact with before that allowed to open up the door for me to walk through. And so I always say that God puts people in place that's going to help you attain the goal that He has in mind for you.
Wow. And so you even want possibly you would maybe even want to be superintendent in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that like and most people don't probably don't even know about this story. This is just local news, even though it's CBS. But did it ever get? Does this ever go viral?
Yes, in fact, it went international.
Oh,
I've been on the Rachel Ray show. I've been on Katie Couric's show. I've been on CNN. I've been on the 700 Club. Uh, I've been on national radio stations. Uh, and in fact, I'm working on a project now where to be an Ellen DeGeneres. So
wait, you're
there's
gonna
several things.
you actually got invited to Ellen? Like,
Yes, I've been in the June issue of People Magazine, the July issue of Reader's Digest. So it has gone worldwide. Yes, international. It has gone worldwide. So because I've had people that have contacted me from Australia, people from Japan, people from the Bahamas, all over. I had one people calling from Canada. I've had people after they've heard my story, they've been emailing me and contacting me and just
oh,
just telling me how I've inspired. I've been doing several engagements throughout the United States. I've been doing speaking engagements throughout the United States and on radio stations as well. I've been on several radio stations throughout the United States and locally that I've been telling my story. And I was again God's story. And hopefully this, that if my thing is that this message, God's message of it's not where you start, it's how you finish. This, a message of hope, of perseverance, of trusting in God. That's the message God wants me to tell everyone that I come in contact with, and that's what I do.
oh,
And
what?
it's not about, for me, it's not about the money. It's about the message. It's not about me. It's about the message. And if that story can inspire people to know that if you put your trust and hope in God, you can accomplish all things, but you have to be patient. And see, Chris, I live by the 4 P's, and it's prayer, patience, persistence, and being positive. But most of all, trusting and believing in God.
Well, and I guess you said like you've been emailed to and called by like a lot of people, but like I never got a response when I tried to email like any of the staff. I don't know if that there's an issue with the tech with the emails or I don't know, but it's a good thing I decided to call. But in general, this why is this in this case underrated though? Like, it's gone viral. people only talk about it like maybe once, but I haven't heard anything sort of like this in the news, to my knowledge.
Okay, well, I can tell you this, Chris. If you Google Joseph Gabe Sonnier, you're gonna see how many television stations have picked it up and added in their area. It's unbelievable the things you see if you Google my name, and you're gonna see how many people have picked it up. It's amazing. It is, and I think
Mm.
what really caused it to get more popular is People Magazine had when after they did their issue in June, they went on their online, they put it on their website again in when was it? It was I want to say in December. They put it again. They put it out again in December, and it caught fire again. And it's been on fire ever since. In fact, I've actually had a couple of movie producers call me, and they think they can make a movie out of my story.
Wait, who do? Well, you don't have to say who, but like,
Yeah, I've
when
had
do
a
you think
couple.
this could be done? Actually, that's an awesome idea. Movie
Yeah,
out of this.
yes,
So it's in
yeah.
production, right?
Huh?
This is in production. A movie out of
Well,
this.
no, well, no, we're working out some things because I haven't officially signed out any contracts with anyone because I want to make sure that everything done is legitimate. And so, but in fact, I've had four movie producers contact me
Wow,
that would like to do that. That would like to do a that would are interested in doing a movie.
wow,
Yes.
you the man, man. Um, so but like recently, do you know anybody has done this up to this perseverance similar like recently? Because I feel people in my mind I could think is Michael Jordan's case, the
Right.
1980 hockey team.
Right.
I'm trying to think
The
of
thing
who.
is that I think I will be honest. There have been some janitors before that became principals. But I'm gonna tell you what happened. They may have been a janitor for like three maybe 5 years, and so but and what makes mine more unique than theirs is that I was a janitor for 27 years. And so most people say after 20 years, who's going to look to become a teacher or a principal or a superintendent? I mean, you're ready to. I mean, you're about ready to retire. Why would you go into this? And I think that's what makes this story so inspiring because 27 years, and now 34 years later, when you stepped on that campus 34 years ago, you were a janitor at that school. Now you're the principal. That's amazing. But you were a janitor for 27 of those years. Who does that? And so I think that's why that story is so it captures so many people and so many people are inspired by it because of that.
Wow, so I had to ask, why were you a janitor for 27 years? Why so long? That's crazy.
I would tell you the way I feel, Chris. I feel that it was God's doing. God had a plan for me, and it had to be the right time. It had to be the right time for me. And
Hmm.
I think for that there's a season for everything, and and just waiting patiently on God and letting Him work that His will be done. I think I feel that that's why 27 years later it had to happen. That's my belief. That's my faith. I do believe that that was God's plan. That was a time that I need to be the principal here at this school, and God felt it was now, and so that's why it was so long that I had to that I had to just endure and just be patient and wait on Him, and that He would give me something greater. And that's what I'll say. If people just wait on God, what He gives you is going to be greater than you ever could imagine.
And I'm sure you've like heard of many people like probably haters probably be like, yeah, you'll never be able to be principal at school, you're a janitor, you're this and that. We all get
Oh,
that.
I've heard that, but I've been raised by my parents, and my parents were, they were advocates for that. You can't let anyone determine or control your desire to be what you want to be. You have to do it yourself. And so you know that, and this is a thing that I tell people often. I say that we had a being on earth that was perfect in everything, and that's Jesus Christ our Lord. And they still killed him because he was perfect. And so I know that they talked about him and killed him, then I am much less than he is. So why can't I be talked about? And if people take that mentality and just let it go, I think the world will be a better place.
Wow. So for now, you're principal. How long do you think you'll be principal before you would even be superintendent? Because
Well,
I don't know, like any if it could be any more than
well, the thing
superintendent.
is, there are some, Chris, there are some things I want to see happen at this school, and that I want to do for this school before I move forward. Because when you're aspiring to become something greater, you have to make sure that the work you've done at one place speaks for you, and that you don't get there just based on who you know, but on your qualifications. And so my thing is that I'm going to do what God ordained me to do here, and then when God feels it's the right time, He'll let me know, and then
So
I'll pursue it.
wait, so what do you think would be done at school, like what should be done? Because you said like I want things to happen while I'm here as principal. So, like,
Oh, my thing is see, like right now we're a B school. My goal for this school is to be an A school, and so and there are things that I'm going to implement, put in place to get out of school. That you may need to do is shuffle a couple of things, and implement more programs, get more parent involvement, get more community involvement, and that's what helps build your school and help push your school. Raise money to get the resources we need for our teachers to be able to teach better, teach that like more technology that's needed in the classrooms, more professional development, stuff of that nature for my teachers, even for myself. Stuff that's going to help us grow as a faculty and staff, so that it can trickle on down to our students and make them better students.
what I was thinking, like at least personally, one thing you should do is if you're principal, you have to find a way to get Common Core out of there. I'm sure you don't agree with it either.
Honestly, I do like Common Core.
Say what?
To be honest with you, because I think that students do need to learn in depth, okay, and it makes us better. It makes them stronger students. My thing is I always look for the future. I know that the kids are our future, and so that's the person that's gonna have to take care of me. They're gonna have to be our doctors, our lawyers, our nurses, our janitors, our cafeteria workers, but I want them to have the best education possible. And if Common Core can assist in that, then that's what we need. Now, do I think our kids need to be tested as often as they're being tested? No.
Yeah, the park.
Right now in Louisiana, we can have 3 phases of testing. We have a phase in March, a phase in April.
Wait, is this park? Or I don't know, they call it different.
It's park. Uh-huh.
Oh man, like I've been told that like a bunch of parents are being mad. Like,
Yes. Yes.
about that,
And,
and
and rightly so. I mean, it's put the pressure on the children, but not only does it put the pressure on our students, but it puts pressure on your staff. It puts pressure on myself, the principal, because everything that happens is based. Our school performance scores are based on what our students are going to do, and so if our students are stressed, day in and day out to take these tests, even though the teacher prepared them, but and I know our teacher prepared them, but that's when a child knows that I am being tested on my knowledge to this extent and that much. That's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on those kids. But we have a job to do. And like I tell my teachers, we have a job to do. We have to just play with the hand we're dealt. I mean, whether we like it or not, you play the hand that's dealt you and try to make the most of it. And hope you come out a winner.
yeah, but the thing is on the Common Core, there's even this video where this teacher takes like a minute to solve 9 + 6 = 15. Now come on, yeah, come on. Like I'm sure Common Core shouldn't be the best thing. Like one of the few states that Indiana, they actually dropped it. I was getting in touch with the legislature there. Yeah, they dropped it. It says some kind of wage, but she did not say I was making it up or anything. Yeah, they did, but I was thinking if you do drop Common Core, you probably could teach kids whatever you feel is best. They
Right.
can take their time.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what. In this coming election in Louisiana, I think 3 of our 4 candidates running for governor in Louisiana are against Common Core, and so we'll see what happens because we may be one of those states that get out of Common Core as well. I don't know. It depends on what governor wins the election,
Yeah.
and so because it's up to your governor when he goes in
Oh.
to either push it or get rid of it, one or the other.
Also, so somebody's running for governor of Louisiana, and
Yeah,
you're gonna address that issue.
well, 3 of 3. Yeah, they're gonna address it. We have 3 of the 4 governors that are running are against Common Core.
So like,
So
if
we may have a governor in Louisiana that may decide that we're gonna do away with Common Core. So we don't know.
which
We'll see.
I think I can't be the worst idea. There's this article from the Atlantic. Finnish education chief recreated an education system based on equality. Now, they have more recess, short school hours than most children do, and it's like they're more relaxed when it comes to learning. It's not like here that is stressed,
Right.
but like,
Because most time what happens is when you're looking at Common Core, what you have is people teaching to the test rather than just teaching students.
oh
And
yeah,
so that's a problem because when you're teaching just to a test, then that's all this knowledge that is missing in between that you could actually provide to students that'll be a whole lot greater. But that's what we're in now, and I can't right now we can't change it unless we vote in a government that's gonna take it out. So we'll see how it goes here in Louisiana. But personally, I really like it. I do. I'll be honest with you. I think it's just the testing all that testing that I have a problem with.
I think, in my opinion, I think we should just scrap it, and we should be able to teach kids whatever. Because, like, I've been told, even on air and often off air, that there's so much science and math and science that we're not even learning. We're behind the world in math and
Yes,
science and all.
science. That's right.
Yeah, and
We are.
there's a bunch of stuff in science that they're not even teaching in schools. You're not gonna find colloidal silver in the health books. You won't find
Right.
you won't find any. You won't find that U.S. officials brought Nazis from Germany in the history books. You won't find. You won't find. Let's see. You won't find stuff like fusion or Nikola Tesla in the science books.
Right.
That's a big issue. Like we would have to say because like, and then there's a few videos where they have these like generators which could run on coffee and water and a bunch of other things, but in the science textbooks you're not gonna see that at all.
I agree.
So like,
You're right. And those things that our students are missing out on. In fact, I recently spoke at a refinery plant in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and that was one of the things that they push. That they like to see education in school where our students are taught more math and more science, so that they can able to come and get jobs at refinery plants like
But
ExxonMobil or
yeah,
a place like that.
it has to be real learning though. We can't just be like,
Right.
we can't be like, oh, we're gonna learn this on the curriculum. They can make something up and make that as their policy, and so then we have to go by that curriculum. Nothing better. Even if the curriculum is stupid, we have to go by it and we have to finish it. The park is stressing so many people I know in my high school, and it's like maybe a month or two, and it's like all grade levels taken some days, and it's incredibly stressing. The teachers they don't like it, but they
Right.
just have to go along with it because it's their job. But I always hear them talking about it, that it's ridiculous, and somebody's got to tell the legislature or say I'm in to do something about this. We gotta like annoy them until they do something because. I'm sure people have to, at the Louisiana legislature.
I tell you what, the parents in Louisiana definitely make us annoying. So I think our
They're not gonna blame you though. Like
No.
you just have to go along with it. Like
Right. Exactly.
yeah, but you. It's not like you started. You're not a bad guy here. It's just that
Right.
we're living under a system that's not benevolent. But you're not a guy to blame at all. You know,
Right.
you're just
Right.
going along with it. You're just trying to
Yes.
help. You have to
Trying to
like
help.
work with the
Exactly.
parents though.
Yeah. So they're the ones that, like I said, they're the ones that make a noise to the tower candidates for governor. So I think they're hearing the people already. So once they get in, hopefully they'll listen to their constituents and and get out of it. But we'll see in October because our election is in October. So we'll see.
Oh, elections in October.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even hear this on the news. So
Yeah. Yes. So Louisiana be having theirs in October.
so the governor is running for re-election. I would assume.
No, no. He's not running for re-election. There's going to be some more candidates because the governor has served 2 terms in Louisiana, so he's out. So it's one of
Oh,
the candidates that are
so which candidate would want to do away with Common Core? And which one would be in favor of it?
Uh, I'm trying to remember. I know that John Bell Edwards is against it. David Vitt is against it. I forgot the other one. There's one. I think it may be. I don't quote me on that because I don't want to say something that's incorrect. I think Scott Angel is for for keeping Common Core, but don't quote me on that because I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to look at that again.
You, I'm not in Louisiana, so I
Yeah,
ask
I
you.
understand, but I'm just saying, they're just not because I'm not sure. I'm not certain.
So you just gotta. Do you have like meetings often where with the board of education and that you could talk to the parents like every few weeks to like hear their opinions out?
Well, I think what's happening is that most of the parents they don't go to board meetings and talk about it. What they do is they've been going to voicing whenever a member from Congress, a legislature comes in, then that's what they go to that legislative member and they discuss and their feelings about Common Core, about Park. They do that and so they make their voices heard through their legislator.
Uh,
So that's how most of it gets out there through word of mouth or or emails or posts to the legislature or whatever and things of that nature. That's how how it's done. Because I know because going to having a board meeting, the boards all they can say is this is what is handed down the Board of Elementary Secondary Education, and this is what we have to do. This come down from the state, and from the government. So this is what we have to do. We can't control that. The only one who can control that is you as voters.
mm,
So so that's the message that's being relayed to the parents.
of course, and you have to like bring more awareness.
Right.
So first you have to tell them what Common Core is and why it's bad, and then
Right.
because it's affecting not only their grades, because if some of them you would have to have like a pass civics in order to graduate as far as high school. So like it stresses the children out, and the worst case scenario, the child ends up hating a certain subject they used to love, hate school in general.
Right.
It's not doing good, and it's like eventually the whole country is gonna suffer overall.
Right. And I'll be honest with you, I can see both sides of the story. And you sit back and you weigh the pros and the cons and see which one, how it's affecting. I remember years ago we used to have a series called Deep into Math, and we had a lot of students that felt that math became their worst subjects, and as they went through high school to grade school and high school, they suffered in math because of that that series there, and I can see where Common Core could hurt, and I can see where Common Core could be an advantage. But everybody has their own opinions about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what advice would you give to others who would want to, let's say, be a sub? Because a sub, some people say it should try to be like a real teacher, but like uh, but what's your take on like being a sub and a
Oh, is that
teacher
be a
and a
sub teacher?
yeah, a substitute
Okay,
teacher.
okay. What's my take on that?
Yeah.
Okay, my thing is that what I always say to uh, even on my campus, when I get subs, I evaluate my subs because when a teacher is out and lesson plan are put forth, you're supposed to. Don't get me wrong, you're not a certified teacher, but what I like about the state of Louisiana, or our school district rather, is what our school district does is any subject we have has to pass a public practice exam. So they have to pass that exam in order to become a sub teacher. That's what I like about it because that means that when they come in, they're gonna have enough knowledge to go in and teach the children where the teacher would, now I'm not gonna say they're gonna teach as well as that homeroom teacher because that teacher knows her students. Each teacher knows that student better than just someone just come in for a small period of time. But uh, uh, they come in and they're supposed to continue on lessons as though the teacher was there. And so when I go in, I evaluate. If you go in there and you're not helping my students, then I'm not gonna. Then I will not call you to come back and sub, because this is not about making a little money for yourself. Because like I tell, and one of our principals told us this. She said, when you get your check at the end of the month, you get paid at the end of the month. What will the students get at the end of the year? So because you get paid every month, but what will the children have learned about the end of the year? And so I feel the same way about a sub. If you come in there just to collect a check, then what will these kids get out of that? Nothing. So I evaluate my subs to make sure that they're going in there and they're actually teaching and not just sitting there to collect a paycheck.
Wow. So, what advice would you have for if you were a teacher? Because anybody who's listening is most likely a teacher and or administrator. And after hearing your story, which is like one of the best stories I've ever heard, what advice would you have for the teachers?
Like, even if you're a teacher, my thing is, and I like this saying. I forgot who wrote it, but my thing for teachers is, if you teach if you teach like you taught, if you teach today's students like you taught yesterday, then you rob them of tomorrow. So be willing to change with the students, because all students, especially in this generation, learn differently. And you have to approach them differently. So you can no longer, you can take some of yesterday, but you can't take all of yesterday and bring into the classroom today. You have to do something different to get your students remain focused on task and be willing to learn. So do not teach like yesterday. Don't teach like you taught yesterday to today's students. That's one of the biggest things I tell teachers today. And so even and if you aspire to be someone other than just a teacher, if you don't want to remain in the classroom the rest of your life, then I stress to my teachers over here, and I have quite a few of them that have got the master's degree. I stress to them to get a master's degree in some field to broaden their horizons, because there might be another area that they can help the students at a grander at a grander level. And so, if you aspire to be something else, go for it. Don't stop there. Go for it. Pursue your dream to be the person that you want to be. Now, if you find just being in the classroom, then be the best teacher you can be. But if you aspire to be something else, go in and get that degree to become that person you're destined to be.
Wow. And the quote was actually from John Dewey. If we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of tomorrow.
That's it. That's it.
Oh, wow. That's deep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what about administrators?
As administrators, we are instructional leaders. Okay, and our job as administrators is to do just that: provide all the resources for your teachers, professional developments, be a model to them, to be a model to your teachers before you try anything, before you place it on your teachers. Try it yourself. See if they're going to work. Be a leader among leaders. Because in our schools, we have many leaders, but we have to be willing to listen to our teachers as well, because they're in the classroom, they're in the trenches as well. They see the students, they know what's going on with these students than we do. And so therefore, listen to them. Seek their advice. Set up committees. Let the teachers take charge, and you can delegate. But when you delegate, also follow through and follow up, and make sure that it's things are happening the way you envision for your school, and that you're all on the same page. Get a committee of people together, and you design a vision for your school and then with that vision, put forth some action plans that are gonna help you attain that goal for your school.
Wow. And when it comes to resource, I was thinking of well, the name is Wolfgang Halbig. I don't know if you've heard of him. That he's more of like he teaches. I mean, he has spent his life with school safety and teaching administrators what to do in case of emergency, etc. Have you heard of him? Or no?
Sir?
Yes.
You asked me a question?
Yeah. Have you heard of Wolfgang Halbig?
I am. I'm sorry. I am. Yes.
I'm sure he went to your school like at some point, but I don't know.
I think he may come to a district. We had professional development where we did a school a parish or a district wide professional development. I think he had been there. I think he'd come to our district.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So since you're a principal, what's your take on like if anybody's a principal? In case there are any principals listening.
What is my take on?
Yeah, like what advice would you give to anybody who's a principal?
Okay, yeah. Well, I think basically the same thing I just told you a second ago is that be a leader among leaders. That's my biggest thing. Because in your school you have teachers that are born leaders, and you can take those teachers as leaders and help them and they can help you formulate a plan that can make your school a better school. You put together a vision and make your school a better school, and then based on that vision, put forth an action plan and get to work. And I guarantee you, your school can become a stronger school if that's being done.
Wow. And well, I would like to see you as actually superintendent, maybe in a few years, but maybe 10 years from now or something.
Well, I tell you what, I'll pray that the same thing can happen. I'm just going to wait on God, and God's going to let me know, okay, this is the time. And then I'll fall right in.
Mm-hmm.
That's I aspire to be that, but my thing is I'll let God make the decision. I'll put it in His hands.
Mm-hmm. So, from what you said earlier, you said you're gonna actually check if everything's like legit as far as like a documentary, like for in the future, because like documentary or in case of like a movie in general at least, like that's something you should keep in mind actually, because I would love to see actually a movie made out of your like career and how this is like one of the most persevering things that I have ever seen. So
I tell you, Chris, I have a lot of things that happen over the years, and I would tell you that I've told some of those things that happened over the years. As I go around speaking engagements, I've done that, and what I told you was only some of the story. You would actually have to know the rest of the story. It's a lot more to that story than you can imagine. This story is genuine, heartfelt, things that happened in my life that you would not. How did this guy make it? And it's a lot. It's a lot to that story. I'll tell you, and a lot of obstacles that I faced that allowed me to persevere regardless of those obstacles. but I knew that my faith in God would get me through it, and it did.
And well, I'm sure that story itself is like too long
Oh
for
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, like
uh,
in a few months you can elaborate on that. Like,
yeah,
if
oh yeah,
like in a few months, like I'll be back in like August or so,
right.
and I'll have you on again. You can talk about that story. But like when the chance comes, like if somebody is willing to offer you like a movie or this, you should take it because like most people don't get that, and you might not get that again in the future.
Oh yeah, I know. Yes,
You have to
I am.
like really. You have to like get yourself out there and don't let this opportunity pass by.
Oh no, I'm not. I
Cause you never
guarantee
know.
I'm not.
You could maybe win an Academy Award. Who knows one day?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah, you never
And
know.
that's why I'm not taking this lightly because excuse excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm not taking this lightly because what I'm doing is I am pursuing that, and because it's the message that is to be told in all this, and that's why I'm not taking it lightly. It's a great message, and as I told you at the beginning, the message is it's not where you start, it's how you finish, and that's the message. And I want to share that message with the world because I know there's some other Joseph Gabe Sonnier that's out there that needs to hear this story. And so that's why I want it to get out. And if it touches one person and changes their life, then I would have done God's will.
And and there's a lot of Gabe Sonniers who are maybe they could be janitors as well. Because I'm
That's
sure
right.
like, there's so many janitors out there. I'm sure
Uh-huh.
like the same advice you would probably give them.
To him, it's right, exactly. In fact, I have a janitor here with me that I encouraged to go back to school, and he went to get himself certified in air conditioning and things like that because that was he desired to be, and he's still going to school now, and I encouraged it, you know, and so that's what I do. I encourage people to be the person you want to be. Don't let any situation stop you from being the person you're destined to be.
Hmm. That was a similar video was a Will Smith telling don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. Not even
That's
me.
right. You use that as motivation to show them that you can. Yep.
There's a I think it was a movie some movie Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah. With Will Smith. Yeah. Uh huh.
Don't ever let
That was
somebody
a good
tell
movie.
you
That's a perfect
you
example.
can't do
This
something.
guy, I mean, living in shelters and still pursued and ended up becoming successful, very successful.
Hmm. I I don't know if you've heard of the that video where how bad do you want it also.
Not even me.
I don't think I did. I don't think I did.
Yeah, it's where like it's well you just type how bad do you want it and
Right.
there's a man, what's this guy's name? The what's this guy? Oh, his name Eric Thomas is the name,
Eric
and
Thomas.
yeah, and what he does is shows this guy was what he shows is this guy like if there's like a he's like a guru, and if you want to be as good as me or something like that, then you're gonna meet here to over there tomorrow, and then he teaches them to work hard, etc.
Yeah.
Want to be on the same level I'm on. I'll meet you tomorrow at the beach.
I tell you, nothing good comes easy. Okay, that you have to work at it. You have to work
Nothing
for
good comes easy.
it. Nothing good comes easy.
Why
If
is
it,
it?
if it comes easy, then there's something that's not too good behind it. I mean, somebody had to sacrifice, and like I tell you, even in that statement, someone had to sacrifice something. If it came that easy for you, that means someone had to sacrifice. Someone else paid the price, so that you could have it.
Oh wow, that's deep. And I've been hearing like this very like recently. Many people say from time and time again, "Where do you want to be in 10 years from now?" I keep hearing that.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And And where do you want to be 10 years from now?
I want to graduate from college,
Okay.
have a job, be a bunch. I actually want to be a bunch of things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
not,
right.
not be versatile, not just stick to one
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I
thing.
hear you. Okay. And but whatever you set out to do, do it. And you're gonna. And I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be rough. Uh, but if you put it in your mind that you can do it, you'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
But have faith now, because sometimes those obstacles you're gonna face is gonna want to make you quit. But then remember, God will not leave you or forsake you. He'll be right there beside you, and he'll help get you through it.
And the same thing applies even for anybody out there who's not a believer, but like no matter where in the world you are, no
Yeah,
matter.
even if you're not a believer, if you have that belief in yourself that you can do it, then it'll happen. I mean, it starts with self too. It does. It starts with self. Because I'll be honest with you, God can have all the plans for us in the world. But if we don't act on those plans that God has for us, then we won't accomplish it either. Even if that's what God wants for us. Because like I tell people, He gives us each our own free will. And if we choose not to do it, then that's your choice, not God's.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, I'm a man of faith. So you're gonna hear so you hear a lot of stuff like that from me. 'Cause I'm a man of faith.
I don't mind. But yeah, and that could be for many years. That you would have to like eventually try your best in general.
That's right.
But think of how hard it was. Let's say one of my prime examples is maybe the Wright brothers or NASA going to space, or the 1980s hockey team. How hard it was for them to
Yep.
achieve.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you probably lived at the time with NASA or maybe the 1980 if you probably know like what that was like. I'm sure that was crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cause that was it. Because I'm a 1979 graduate of Leonardville High School. So yes, I know quite a bit about that stuff. Yeah.
Wait, how crazy was that in your perspective? Like was like could you compare it to anything recent, any sports event that happened recently?
Oh, that I have to think about, Chris.
I doubt
Because
it.
you got so many things that happen nowadays, and it's happening on a regular basis, and you see more and more stories like that coming out. And right now it's on the top of my head, it's hard to pinpoint one on the top of my head, but because there's been so many cases of things happening nowadays, and so right off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you anything right now. You know.
But that was crazy. And when I even saw the documentary about it, and like nobody believed in those college kids that they could beat the Soviets.
Yeah, yeah. But hey, they did. Yeah.
Hmm. Wow. And besides maybe even a movie in general, what other things have you what is there anything else you probably would want to accomplish besides a movie about yourself? Besides anything for the school?
Well,
I'm
yeah,
sure
because
your family
that's
must
one
be
thing.
incredibly proud of everything, but
That's one project I'm working on at our school, and we're trying to get our community involved. Is that we're a pre-K to 4 school, and for years since I've been here, the school has never had an activity building like a gym or anything of that nature.
say what?
And we've never had a gym or an activity building. Right now,
Why?
any program we have, we do in the school cafeteria.
Why is there no gym or anything like that?
Well, you see, this school was originally a school that was for black students, and with the integration, it became because the name of it used to be Public Elementary Colored School. But when the integration came in, this school became Berre Elementary, and they built this school on the lot that we all, but there was never a gym built. And this school is now 79 years old, and it has never had a gym built on this campus. Now, I know that our district is not one of the most financial districts because we live in a rural area, and uh, so you don't get much tax dollars, and so
Mm.
we don't have a gym. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to set up programs and fundraisers to try and raise money to build us a gym.
How much would it cost, do you think? Probably cost
I'm not
thousands.
certain. I know it's going to cost. It's going to cost quite a bit.
Thousands. Hundreds of thousands,
Uh,
maybe.
and our thing is to have it built so that we can have, because that way we'll be able to have more of our community involved in our events that our students do in our school. But we can't have them too many parents because we don't have the room to do it. Yeah,
You
and
could
so
probably do it outside at the moment.
well, the thing about it is that when you do it outside, that you have to take into consideration how the weather's going to be. And Louisiana is one of those states. The weather it could be raining one day, burning up the next, snowing, uh, cold. The weather in Louisiana is crazy. I mean that's all I can say. You don't know what type of weather you'll get from one day to the next. And so a lot of events you cannot hold outside. You get lucky when you can. But that's what we're trying to work on. We really want to get us a gym. I mean, we don't have the money to do it now. We're trying to do fundraise so we can try and raise that money to be able to do that.
Wow.
But
So
that's going to take some
hopefully
time.
whoever is listening could help finance. I'm sure somebody could know somebody maybe owns a corporation or any organization or a group that can actually help you out to
Well,
contact you.
I tell you what, I would really welcome that because
Hmm.
and the easiest way to reach me is through my school email or just call from elementary school in Louisiana. And I tell you what, I answer all phone calls. I don't ignore anyone. I'm not the type of person. If I'm busy, somehow or another I'll get back with you. And so if someone is willing to help Pobre Elementary, we would truly welcome that, and we would truly be appreciative of that. So any listeners out there, if you can help, or if you know anyone that can, please help us.
Hmm. Definitely. Hope somebody can who's listening can help because like there's always somebody out there and like you can't you like for 7 billion people you may think that not many people would like you and then in there's always that one person, especially when it comes to radio.
Right,
There's radios worldwide,
right,
so there's
exactly.
gotta be one person out there who's like a fan and they can listen to you every day, etc., and you
That's
don't even
right.
know who that person is.
That's right.
Hmm.
You're absolutely correct.
Well, now out of all that and unless I've gone like through real perseverance like that, out of that magnitude, I don't know. I wouldn't know what it's like to be in your shoes personally. I can only imagine. What?
I truly thank you, Chris. For that compliment. Uh,
No problem.
and I know that there are stories that might be more inspiring than the story I've told. But stories like that need to be told because I think too often people give up hope because there's not someone to inspire or not someone to tell them, I feel that you can do this. But just like someone spoke, planted that seed in me about my potential, everybody needs someone in their lives to tell them that they can accomplish anything they want. And this story that I've told to the many people that I've spoken to, and even on your radio station, Chris, I hope that they know that it's it's about persevering, determination. It can be done. Do not let anyone.
Not even financial. No, nothing financial. No personal problems.
Right,
No
nothing.
anybody trying to intimidate you or bully you, or or even yourself. Because honestly, yourself, you is not so much people anything outside, but also yourself. Because people tend to
There you
doubt
go.
themselves as well.
There you go. It's yourself. If you have that burning desire, don't let anyone blow that flame. if you have that burning desire, you go and get it. Let that fire burn until you accomplish what you set out to accomplish. And then after you set out to accomplish, then you can let your light shine. Let it shine.
Yeah, and as far as from Eric's speech, yeah, is when you want something that's bad enough that you want to breathe. Because like if you try to uh, cover your nose, you won't be able to breathe.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's
you won't
right.
be able to breathe. If you try to cover your mouth, try to cover your nose, you won't be able to breathe. How bad do you want that
Exactly.
air?
You're right.
You need oxygen. So since you won't be able to breathe, you'll do whatever it takes to get that oxygen. Because without oxygen, you'll die. So,
That's right.
but metaphorically or an analogy, you could put it as like how bad you want something that you cannot sleep. You hardly slept when you try to be successful.
You're right.
You like 3 hours. Wow.
Yeah, that's it. That was it. I would tell you, there was some, I tell you, that was many weeks where I was getting 12 to 15 hours of sleep a week.
Oh,
And because on weekends, like I told you earlier, on weekends, we were traveling, my sons were every day playing football. And so that meant on weekends, I was traveling and watching them play football and maybe a couple hours of sleep overnight and then get back on that road the next day. Sometimes I got back on the road, got back on the road the same night and came right back on home because I had too much homework to do. And so that's what I did. That's what I did.
wow. So that means like, and you couldn't spend that much time with your family though, because you had to go to work, you had to go to school, whether it's night classes or whatever it was.
Yes. Well, yeah. My time. Thank God my sons were in college when I was doing all that. And my wife, I mean, she was a trooper. My wife was a trooper. She stayed with me, through it all, and she knew that, that it was what my desire was, and she stayed behind me the entire time. She supported me, and that's why I use that statement. Beside every good man, there's a great woman. I hear some people say behind. I said no. In my case, it was beside, because my wife was side by side with me through all of this.
Wow, that's amazing. And as far as I'm sure you heard of Michael Jordan,
Hmm.
like Space Jam and like Michael Jordan quit at one time, but if he had quit for good, there probably
Right.
wouldn't be Space Jam.
Exactly. That's right.
According to
There's no
Kid
Space Jam.
President.
That's right.
But I'm sure like Michael Jordan was very popular many like 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
Like I don't know, like how was it like when 30 years back when Michael Jordan was big?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you everything. I mean, everybody wanted that wear everything Michael Jordan had on. Everybody wanted, because they just looked up to Michael Jordan. In fact, a lot of our basketball players today are great basketball players today because of Michael Jordan, because that was a household name, Michael Jordan. And that's why I say today a lot of the kids today have become Michael Jordans in their own aspect because of the great person, the great player that he was. And like he told his story, when he was in junior high, and his coach told him that he couldn't play basketball
Oh,
and cut him, he went back and proved it differently, and I became a legend in basketball history.
wow, and even some of his quotes, obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed that, Chris. Can you repeat that?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give
That's
up.
right. Don't turn around. That's right.
Figure out how to
Yeah,
climb it, go through it, and work through it. Or
there you go.
some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, others make it happen.
That's right. And in this day and age, Chris, we live in what I call a microwave society. Everybody wants things instantly, and for some things, it's not that simple. Like you just said, you got to work through it and make your way through it. That's how things happen. You don't just sit there and just put it in a microwave and say, okay, it's done. No, you got to work through it. Because I'm pretty sure some of the research says that some of cancer is caused through microwave ovens. So just because it's good or it's easy doesn't mean it's good.
Mm.
So I tell you, just because it's easy doesn't mean it's good. Because microwave ovens aren't that good. Because it's radiation that is heating up your food or whatever you heat it. Yeah.
And one quote that really gets me is, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games 26 times. I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed.
And that's Michael Jordan.
Wow.
Is that Michael Jordan?
Yep. And the last example I would have is the 1980 Miracle on Ice. And one of the only players that's actually out there, because the rest you can't find him, is Mark Johnson. He now coaches a women's ice hockey team in Wisconsin.
Ice hockey team, that's right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'll get him. I'll try to get him on real soon, because it's like it's a season, so they're busy. But I'll try to get him on, because like he was one of the players in 1980.
Right. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. When you said the women's hockey team, yeah, I remember that coach. Yeah. Wow.
And if possible, I would have. Do you have Skype? Because like in the future, I could get. If I could get him on. After that, I can get both of you on. There's another one, Margie Wright.
I'm glad you said, Chris. What station are you on?
I'm in WSPR.
NWCR?
WSPR.
Or WSPR?
Yeah.
And that's out of where?
That's in St. Peter's, obviously.
St. Peter's.
Yeah, it's only one small part of it though, and then there's like a dozen people, but the thing is about my show that I think it sets us apart is that it's all about general stuff. You just never know who I could have here. I could have singers, actors, voiceover, acrobats, like you name it. Yeah, like and as far as this situation or Mark and even Michael Jordan, it would be awesome if I could have like the three of you like on Skype and like a group chat. That would be awesome. That sounds like very bombshell, very enlightening. Like it can be as enlightening that your mind, it feels like your mind's like very blank almost in a way, because like your mind is being filled not with the crap you get from TV or random stuff that really doesn't matter that much, really. Like I'm not the sports, but like what about any dramas, any and stuff like that that's not necessarily important. We should be talking about like stuff how like perseverance and lining, like how to get out of tight spots, or how a janitor could become a principal. That was very unlikely. I don't think anybody in the world was probably done something like that recently. How could somebody that's been cut from a high school basketball team be like the greatest player? At least in my opinion. How could a team that is a bunch of kids beat the big boys?
Right. Mm-hmm. I got you. That's true. Yeah.
And there's a lot more stories and.
Like that. That's right.
Oh man.
Okay. And so you say you're out of where? St. Peter's what?
St. Peter's University.
University.
Yeah.
And where is that? Where is it exactly at?
It's in New Jersey somewhere.
New Jersey,
if possible,
yeah.
You should give a conference here.
Jersey, yeah.
If possible, you should give a conference here. That'd be awesome. Have you gone to conferences recently?
In fact, I had one college that's trying to get in contact with me now that wants me to go to their college and do a conference, and we're working out the details on that. Yeah, I mean, if we can work out details in regards to
yeah.
If y'all would like to go over there, I wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah. When we're done, I'll ask you on that. But like I'm sure you're a busy man, so like it'd be very tricky. Like I don't know what your schedule is like, so because a lot of people I've been trying to get on were very busy, and they hardly have the time to even talk to anybody for a few minutes. I'm trying to get someone, and they can only be like around almost 15 minutes, but their schedule is so tight, so it's very hard. And some of them I would probably have to wait for like months, maybe. So it's very, very hard. Even
Well,
for a
because
few
I like,
minutes, what
see,
matters is
what
that
I do
someone will
is,
come on.
right, because I try to coordinate things that, where it, because even though I'm very busy, when it comes to getting a message to people that I feel that can inspire, what I do is, we collaborate and we figure out exactly how we can do it. And to me, when it's fresh in people's minds, that's when you wanna hit it, and you wanna do it. And so you and I, yeah, we can get together, we can talk, and we can see what we can work out.
Hmm.
We can work out.
Oh man, the last minute on in the Miracle on Ice. Oh man, some people are like it was even like an earthquake. One guy that I talked to, I'm sure he's a lot older than you, but he's been there in 1980, and he said like they couldn't get out for like maybe like an hour or two, you know.
Losing it to Silk. Now Petrov can... 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles?
Hello?
Yes!
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I lost you. Look, I do have a meeting that I have to go to at 6:00.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just that it's so interesting. I would love to have you on again in a few months, like in the fall, hopefully.
Yeah, we can do that. I'm serious.
Yeah.
All you do is you give me a call. I'll be waiting for your call, and
Yeah.
you give me a call, and we can work things out.
Yeah. Wait, before you go, what would you like to say to everyone? I'm sure you've repeated it many times, but as like a message overall to all the listeners,
Okay.
etc.
This is the one thing, and I will always continue to make this message. So, and I will say it to where I hope everyone understands that this is a message of hope, a message of perseverance, a message of faith. Believe that it's not where you start, it's how you finish. Despite the obstacles or the trials you may face, do not let that or anyone stop you from being the person you're destined to be. Great things can happen if you pursue your dream, and that's the ideal thing. Let's not. Sometimes you got to be patient, and as I said before, I practice the 4 P: prayer, patience, persistence, but most of all, being positive. And if you're positive, then everything else is going to fall into place, and you're going to see how great things are going to happen. So, be the person you're destined to become. And I thank you, Chris, for having me on the air.
No problem.
And I really hope and pray that this message will reach and inspire other people to become all that they're destined to be. And then the United States will be the great country that God intended it to be.
Amen to that one. So thanks for being on, Principal Gabe Sonnier.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Okay. And God bless you, and God bless your listeners, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Besides the Miracle on Ice thing, wow, it's just. Can you imagine? Think about it. There's so much perseverance, but the stupid people can have all the confidence, but all the amazing people, they're afraid to even show it off. And that's also another factor when it comes to just doubting yourself. You know, we have to get our stuff together, you know, and realize that we can succeed if we give it our all and try. You know, it's awesome, his story. And if you want to help him, you can contact the Port Berre School. I'm sure somebody out there has got to help him. So we can only hope that somebody calls him and they can get a gym. Damn it, they should get a gym. Wow. But we'll see what the future holds, you know? So remember, don't give up. And that's a direct order. It's a direct order. Don't let me or anybody else tell you what to do. Whether you're a little kid, don't let your parents tell you what what to do, but that you can't do something. Don't let your parents tell you cannot do something. Don't let your parents tell you cannot do something. Don't let your friends. Don't let anybody, not even me, that you can't do something. All right? Now, get out there and do it.